Hey guys, welcome to the second lesson of the Power BI week. Today, I'm excited to have you here with me because we're going to learn a lot about Power Query transformations, data modeling, how relationship between tables work. Also, at the end, we're going to see some advanced visualization techniques, such as tooltips. Also, we're going to create a hidden filter. And at the end, we're going to change pages or maybe change backgrounds just with the click of a button, from dark background to a light one. So stick to the end because it's gonna be awesome today. Before I jump into the content, let me remind you some important notes. So today is the second lesson. On Thursday, so tomorrow, Wednesday, we're not gonna have any meeting, any lesson, okay? On Thursday, we're gonna have our third lesson. I'll be live in the chat with you today and also on Thursday. The materials you can download in the first lesson, okay? So the database and all materials, you can go back one step and download from there. Also, all recordings are gonna be available until Sunday. So do not forget to watch and practice as soon as you can. And do not try to reproduce at the same time with me, okay? So watch later and practice later. Sorry, watch now and practice later. And also, on Thursday, I'll give you my PBIX file, this one that we're building together. Also, I'm gonna send the link for the certificate. And at the end of the lesson on Thursday, I'm gonna open the doors and I'm gonna talk about my complete training program, my Power BI Experience course. All right, that's it, guys. In the first lesson, we did this page, remember? And I left a challenge for you, this one. How can we fix this visual and this one? Have you tried? Tell me in the chat, say I, if you already started creating your dashboard. Say I. How can I fix this? Tell me in the chat as well. It's just a relationship problem. It's just something I have to change here in the modeling tab, right? So we're going to do this first. Then we're going to import the budget table that we're going to need to clean. It's dirty and messy. And then we continue our modeling phase. Let's go. Okay, so here under the model tab, we just have to create this relationship between product and sales by using the proper column. What's the column that I have in common in those two tables? Let me just reorganize there. So ID in product and product key in the sales table. I just have then to click on there on ID. Either way, you could do the from sales to product or product from product to sales, no problem. And you have to be very careful here to release this column in the proper column, which is the product key. If I release, for example, under manager, Power BI will not complain. Sorry, Power BI will not complain. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. But then when I see the result, it's gonna be all empty, blank, because it didn't find the correspondent values between those two tables. It's like doing a VLOOKUP using the wrong column. Same thing. Let's go to model again, and then we can either delete or double click to change properties. Double click, let's go to double click, and I can change from manager to where? Product key. All right, then press OK, and everything now should work. Yes, it's working. With flowers is our main product. All right. And here is also working. I just lost my colors. Yeah. Let's go to format, data colors. Food is going to be my green because I'm working with orders. Orders is green. And here, let me change this y-axis to give more space to these words. Y-axis, maximum size. That's, yeah, perfect. Great. And minimum category width, let's make this a little bit, yeah, perfect. It's better to read like this. Okay, now let's import our budget table. Let's see how our budget table works, what we have there, and then let's import this table into Power BI. Okay, this is our main table. We have 3 tabs, one for each year, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Okay, so we must have always the same structure if we need to compare, if we need to do this operation, this transformation, just once. So we can see that we have salesperson on the rows, the months here on columns, and here are the values for all 3 years. Perfect. That's good. Okay, that's good because I can do one single operation, the operation just once actually, and then it's gonna perform for those 3 tabs at once. We're gonna see how. But first, before going to Power BI, I wanna ask you the following. Whenever I see a table like this that I have to transform, or a table that is not in the proper shape with the proper columns, I always ask myself, what are the columns that I need or that I'm gonna have when this budget table is clean, is ready, is in the correct structure? What are? Tell me in the chat, help me please to understand what are the columns that I must have in this table, in this final budget table. As I have 3 years, year is gonna be 1 column. Also, the salesperson ID, right? Salesperson ID. What about those 12 columns and the values? They must be transformed into 2 columns, the month and the amount, the budget amount. Okay, let's do it in inside Power BI, inside Power Query. Because these 12 columns right here, we're gonna have this challenge to do what? What's the correct term for this? The correct term for this operation is to transform those 12 columns into rows, or to unpivot those columns. Let's go. Let's go to Power BI and Excel to import this budget table. Let's choose just one, just to start. Choose here, 2019, for example, transform data. Okay. And here, what I can do is the following. I can start transforming only this table, okay, only this year, and then later I'm gonna retrieve the other two years. So it's gonna be I'm gonna transform just once. First thing always that I like to do is to find or to remove the null values, the null or the rows that I don't need. I know this one I don't need. And what about the grand total? Should I keep or should I remove the grand total? Remember, Power BI and table structure inside Power BI must be always columnar. So when I have the amount column ready, when I sum up this column, I'm gonna have the grand total already. So I don't need to bring, I shouldn't bring this grand total. Otherwise, I would duplicate these values, duplicate the total, right? Okay, and what about the first row? I have the year here. How can I have the year? How can I get the year if I remove this row? We're gonna see later. We're gonna see later. Sorry, we're gonna see later because we have the year, the name of the year, the number of the year in the sheets. We're gonna see that. There you go to budget, remove null and remove grand total. click OK. There you go. Fine, perfect. Now I can use the first row as header. Use first row as headers. What about columns? Can I remove any columns from here? Let's go to the end. I have this column 14, which is this column here, the total for each salesperson. I can also remove this column. Then just right click, remove. Now to transform those 12 columns into rows, I must do this unpivot operation. This is different from transpose. Transpose is an operation for the whole table. I would do this, right? Unpivot, I would keep my salesperson ID where it is, and only those 12 rows I would transform, only those 12 columns I would transform into rows. Salesperson ID would stay in the same position. In this case, we would have 12 rows for each salesperson because we have 12 months. Actually, when we have nulls, this value is gonna disappear. Okay, but then when I have values, they are gonna be present in this row. I select only 12 rows or those 12 columns. Right click, unpivot columns. Attribute is month. Double click. Or maybe what I can do is the following. Instead of renaming here, double clicking, I can rename here in the formula bar. So I don't add another step. Month, and value I could keep as value, but I can call as amount. All right, guys. But I did this only for one single year. I don't want to do this for all other years. What can I do? Then let's try to do this. I'm not sure if this is going to work, okay? If this does not work, we do all this process again. But I can do the following. I can go step by step to the first one to see what Power BI did. So here now, this formula bar is going to be very important. So Power BI is connecting to this file, which is the budget file. And on the second operation, you can see the following. Power BI chose only 2019. That's where the mistake, or not the mistake, but that's where we need to change. So how can we change? I'm going to remove, okay? Because I have to specify just one. No. I'm going to remove, delete, and I'm going to go back here to source. And now, instead of clicking on this table for one specific year, I'm going to expand from here. So all years are going to be expanded at once. But first, let me remove these 3 columns because I don't need them. And you see here with this name column that I can find the year. Delete, insert. Power BI is asking the following. When I do any transformations or any steps that are not the last one, Power BI asks, are you sure you want to do this? Because I can change the behavior for the next ones. So be careful when you try to add steps in the middle. Now let's go. Let's expand here. Let's remove this use original column. Okay. Insert. Yes, I want to insert. Okay, you can see here already we have 2019, 2020, and there 2021. Sounds good. Looks good. Let's go to the next one, and then we go step by step to check if everything is fine. Change type. No, change type is not working anymore. Because under change type, we had the name column 2. Actually, what I can do is the following. Remove these promoted headers. because now I can do the following. Actually, let's do this all again. It's easier. I could do I could fix everything here step by step, but I'm not gonna spend time with you doing this. So let's remove everything again. Okay, and then here from the expanded data, we're gonna do all transformations again. But we have 3 years right now. It's very similar. What we can do is the following. We can go now to column 1 and remove what we don't need. How? By unchecking budget, where I have this value budget, where I have null, where I have grand total, I'm gonna remove. So let's go there. And let's go in here, in here, in here. Just uncheck. Nice, very nice, very nice. Now we just use first row as headers. Perfect. But then, look at this row here and this one. What does this row represent? The header for the second data, the second year. And here the header for the third year. We can remove as well. Going there and checking salesperson ID. All right. Now I think we just have to remove the last column, which is column 15 right now. It was 14, but now as we have the year first, it is 15. Remove. Okay. Select only those 12 rows, sorry, those 12 columns that represent the months. Right click and pivot columns. Attribute month, value, amount. And this one I'm gonna rename to year. Let's change those, no, keep as is for now. Year, salesperson ID, month, and amount. And this column, this table actually is gonna be called as budget. Okay, that's fine. We still have some problems here to create relationships between tables, but we're gonna fix later. But I think we are done for now, okay? So let's close and apply. Close and apply. Budget table is gonna be imported to Power BI, and we can start now creating relationships. How can I compare sales with budget? Let's do the following. Let me open a blank page and let me do this page background in dark, like this. Okay. And let's try to compare sales with budget. Table, sales. I can use revenue. I can make this bigger, just going there to the format option, grid, text size. And budget, I can create a measure. We're gonna do this later, or maybe just for testing, doing this. Okay, let's use currency 0 decimal places. I can compare easily the totals, revenue and amount. It works. But how can I compare, or how can I break these numbers for salesperson, or maybe for the months or the years? It's not gonna work. For example, let's try to do this for salesperson. Salesperson, we're gonna say that we have the same problem we had at the end of the last lesson. These values are equal and equal to this total. Because salesperson here, this column, could not filter this value, because we don't have this relationship between those two tables. Okay, so what I can try to do is the following. I have budget here, right? And I have sales here. What if I try to create this relationship between salesperson ID and salesperson key, which are the columns in common? Let's try. Salesperson ID, salesperson key. It opens this dialog box with this yellow warning. I'm not worried about this right now. And I will click OK. I'm going to ignore that. It created this relationship. Seems to work, I think. Let's see. And now if I go back there, it looks like it's working. It seems it's working. That's fine. Good. But now we finished this report, and then we sent to our manager, and our manager said, "Oh, nice. But now I want to see I want to compare over time. I want to do a time comparison for months over months, for example." Oh, then we have another problem, because if I use right now, let me change this table to a matrix, because on matrix I can create drill down. Then let's try to use order date in here below salesperson, because I want to see, for example, for Leonardo, I want to open Leonardo and to see over the years how much Leonardo sold, what was the revenue and the budget amount. But again, these values for Leonardo are the same and equal to this one, which is in white, but it's the same value. Okay, so it's not working anymore. And now I can try to create another relationship between date here and date there, which will not work, because I can have only one single active relationship between the same two tables. Only one single relationship between those two tables. So this is not going to work. As I must compare budget and sales over two attributes or two categories, which are salesperson and date, that's not how we're going to fix this. That's not how we're going to create our model. For that, we need the following. We need to split these tables into pieces, into tables that we call dimensions or lookup tables. So we're going to create a salesperson table right there, and also a date table right here, date table right there, so that those two tables, they will filter our sales and budget table. So we're going to have this relationship right there, this relationship right here, this relationship right there, and also this relationship right here. So with those two tables that we're going to create right now, then we will be able to create this comparison for sales and budget over time, over date, and over salesperson. Salesperson, supervisor, and manager as well, of course, because they are in the same table, in the same hierarchy. How can we create this? We can see if we find this salesperson table in another place. For example, can we bring this salesperson lookup table with all the salesperson and their attributes from outside, from our system, or from, I don't know, maybe another Excel file? If yes, do this. If no, as in our case, we're gonna go to Power Query to do the following. To duplicate our sales table, right click, duplicate, and then let's call this sales person, okay? And in here, in this table, I'm gonna keep only and only the columns that belong to a salesperson. the attributes of a salesperson. Okay? How? Just going there on choose columns, uncheck all, and keep only salesperson key, salesperson, supervisor, manager. And then you have to check if channel is something related to the salesperson or if channel is something related to the sales. If one salesperson has always the same channel, then channel belongs to the salesperson. Otherwise, if a salesperson can have more than one channel, can sell through more than one channel, then it doesn't belong to the salesperson. I'll keep outside, okay? I'm not sure, I'll keep outside. So I'm gonna keep only those 4 columns, okay? And then there is a very, very important point here when we are creating these tables, these lookup tables, which is the following. They always must have a unique identifier. One column with unique identifier. I cannot have, for example, in this case, salesperson key that are repeating along the rows. They must be unique. One row for each salesperson key, because it's something that identifies the salesperson. It's the key. It's not the name. It's not the supervisor. It's not the, I don't know, the passport, whatever. It's, in this case, is the key. So we go there to salesperson key with the right click and remove duplicates. Remove duplicates. Of course, as I said, if I have this lookup table from outside in another file or in my database, I can bring from there. In our case, we don't have. So I did this operation to create the salesperson table. And we can see here only 12 rows, one for each salesperson. Is that clear? That's how we create these lookup tables. We call these lookup tables as dimensions. In the data warehouse or data or business intelligence terminology. For those who use SAP, okay, for those who have SAP as an ERP, I think they call as master data. Okay, master data. Or lookup tables, dimensions, master data, it's all the same. Tables that have one unique identifier and properties or attributes of this entity. In our case, salesperson is an entity. Product is also an entity, another lookup table here. Product is another lookup table. I have this ID that does not repeat along these rows. This is our product dimension. What about sales and budget? Sales and budget, they're called fact tables. They are called fact tables or data tables. It's where we store our historical events. Okay, so our events that usually have a date column and they grow along the time, they're stored here in our fact tables. So sales and budget are fact tables. I'm going to review all of these concepts, okay, in a moment. Don't worry. And in this sales table, do I need now the salesperson name, supervisor, and manager? I am at the sales table, okay? I don't need anymore because I have the salesperson key. And remember, I do not need to duplicate this information, salesperson, the properties, the attributes of the salesperson here. Only the key, because with the key, I will be able to create my relationship. Now let's go with, in this sales table, and then with the control button, I can select those three columns and delete. Fine. Let me see if everything is fine under salesperson. Salesperson is okay. Budget is okay. Actually, budget is not okay because salesperson ID is with this ABC123. Be careful about this. Always choose the proper type. This is general. I don't like general. So let's change where? Here to whole number. Whole number. It's fine. And now let's try to close and apply again. Close and apply again. We created the first lookup table, right? Which is the salesperson. And I can see the following now. Actually, this relationship I will remove because I always must be very careful about this. I cannot create relationships across fact tables. We always must use dimensions to relate, to create this relationship, to create this analysis over my fact tables. So I cannot have this relationship here. I'm going to delete. Always use your lookup tables to do this type of analysis, okay? To do, for example, an analysis for sales versus budget. Use your lookup tables. Always. This is classic. This is the most common error that beginners make is in this model tab. Let's go now with salesperson key to relate to salesperson ID. And now, when I need to compare supervisor or manager or salesperson for comparing sales and budget, I will bring my columns from there. My columns that I will place in the axis from here. Okay, from the salesperson or from the lookup tables. Let's go there. This video is gonna break because I deleted one of the columns I was using here. No problem, it happens. Because now I can use salesperson from the correct table, the salesperson. Values are still working, but now the nice thing is the following. If I create another table for my dates, and I make this relationship here and my relationship there, I can bring my month or my year from this table to that visual, and then it's gonna work. I'll have 4 tables in one single visual that are communicating to each other and working smoothly. Let's create this table here, which we call date table or calendar table. I like to call it as date table. How? The easiest way is to go here under modeling and new table. Just let me press ask, because first, let me explain about this. Okay, remember our 4th pillar, calculations, here. I can create new measures. Quick measure is a way to create measures without writing the code. I don't like it. I prefer to understand the DAX language, okay? New column and new table. All of this uses the DAX language. Data analysis expressions. In the first lesson, we created measures already. Remember? Now we're going to create one table using the DAX language. Usually we create tables and columns inside Power Query before loading to Power BI. But the calendar table is an exception that we can create using DAX. So let's go there, new table. And here I'll call this date. There's a very nice function, very easy function to use, which is the calendar auto. Calendar auto that will create a table, date table, with one date for each line, each row, using the dates we have, using the range of dates we have in our model. So it finds that we have this order date column, and it will bring the first day of the minimum year and the last day of the maximum year, and it will create this date table right there. Always start the calendar table, always start from the January 1st and go until December 31st of the latest year. First year, latest year, full range of dates, and the full range of years as well. All right. Now we can do the following. We can go here to the model tab and create this relationship between sales and date, using date there and order date here. Okay. Place your hover your mouse on top of this relationship between to check if you did correctly. Yeah. What about the budget? I don't have a column for date. They must have the same type, the same data type. I have month and year in separate columns. What can I do? What do you think? Tell me in the chat. What can I do? What I can do to fix this, to create this relationship between date and budget. I'm gonna do this in the Power Query. Inside Power Query, I'm gonna create a date column, and I'm gonna point this column, this date, or actually this month, to the first day or to whatever day I want in my month. Because I have only information for month and year. I don't have information for day. So I can store in any day inside of this month my date column. Usually the first day. Let's try to do this in here. And this is gonna change depending on your regional settings, on your locale, maybe. Let's try the following. I'm gonna click on month, then on year with the control, merge columns. I'm gonna merge using a custom separator. Let's try with this, how do you call this? Forgot the name. And I'll call this as budget date. Budget date. Okay. There you go. Now, I think my machine is gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna work for everyone. If I change the type to date already, yes, it worked. Yeah. Here, as I said, in my machine, I have day, month, and year. So first day of March, April, May, and so on. Let me go back one step. Yeah, March 2019, and so on. If this does not work for you, what you can do is the following. If this goes, I don't know, maybe to a wrong day or to a wrong month, I don't know, you can do the following. I just removed, and you can go with the right click and change type, but then using locale. And you can change, you can simulate you are in a different region. So I want to change to a date type, but using locale for United Kingdom, English United Kingdom. Then it's gonna work. Maybe for US, it's not gonna work. But for United Kingdom, it will. United Kingdom. Okay. Yeah, then it worked. I have my budget date, salesperson ID, and my budget amount. Close and apply. You can see that the transformation phase and the modeling phase, they work together. You can go back and forth a lot of times. Now let's create this relationship between date and budget date. I think it's done. And let's use this date in our visual and no longer use, you cannot use order date anymore. So let's go back there to the report and let's try now to analyze this date from this table, from the date table under salesperson. Let me do the following. Let me change these colors so I can see the numbers. It's all white. Color, you can find there through this search bar. Let's see. Subtotals, font color, black, and grand total, font color, black. There you go. Let's go again to Leonardo. It's not me. All right, that's great, guys. See? I can see now revenue and this is budget, okay? And budget for the salespeople and also for the years. What about the months or the quarters? It's working. Nice, fine. What about the months? November, October, and December. Working. Great. What about the days? What do you think? Then we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. But then it's a business problem and not a technical problem here inside of Power BI. Because I don't have budget for days. I have budget for months. And then of course, if I go down to the month, it's gonna show all the value, all the budget value for the first day. You could do some type of calculations here, apply some business rules to take this total here and distribute along the days. Not our problem right now. We're not gonna do this in this week. I do this in my complete course I'm gonna talk about on Thursday. All right. Fine, guys, we are done here with our modeling. Our modeling is correct and it's all working perfectly, smoothly. So let me make some notes for you, okay? Let me give you some notes right there. Where is it? Right here, under modeling phase, there. Let's review the definition for dimensions or lookup tables and fact tables. So we always have to think about two types of tables. Two types of tables. Dimensions, which describe business entities, the things in our model. We call this as well as lookup tables, or the what, when, where, who bought, where did they sell, where is my store, or when did I sell this product, and what did I sell for sales, for example. Okay, all these attributes, these descriptions are stored as columns in our dimensions. So they store the perspective or the attributes of these entities, their descriptions. I always must have a column that acts as a unique identifier. And they're used to filter and group the values that I want to analyze. So usually, the columns that I have here in the dimensions, they go to axes and filters, to the axis of the visuals and to filters. They're gonna filter the values that are stored in the fact tables. Perfect. They are usually short in terms of rows, but they can be wide with lots of columns to describe this entity. Example, products, customers, suppliers, accounts, and so on. On the other hand, fact tables, they are called also as data tables. The transactions, the events that happen over time. Usually there is a column to identify the date where this event happened. They contain the dimension key columns in order to make these relationships, okay? And numeric columns. They can be very tall. Usually they are very tall with billions of rows and they grow over time. But we try to keep these tables as thin as possible, or as possible, with the least number of columns as possible, okay? The less columns that I have, the better the performance. Okay, examples: sales orders, stock balances, financial transactions, temperatures, production, and many others. Tell me in the chat, is everything clear for defining the dimensions and fact tables? Tell me in the chat as well what type of tables you can identify as dimensions and fact tables in your business. Tell me in the chat so other people can understand, and also myself. I want to see. I'm curious about this. Let me drink some water. Now, let me go there to finish this topic. Okay, guys. So, right there, let me draw here the following. We just built a dimensional data model. Dimensional data model. Okay, this is very important inside of Power BI and for creating robust reports. To know how to create dimensions and fact. So we have here our dimension tables, dimension or lookup tables, right? And there, under here, fact tables or data tables. I always like to do this positioning, to place fact tables down there and dimensions tables on top of these tables. Why? Because I can see that the filter flows across this way, from the dimensions to the fact tables. You can see here in these relationships that we have this one and also this star. So what does this mean? Okay, let me go here to explain what one and star means and what this arrow means as well. One stands for a dimension table where I have a unique identifier in this column. So this relationship is between ID and product key. And here I have one, which means this ID does not repeat along the rows there. And the star means many. One to many. One to many relationship. And the filter goes always from the one to the many side. What does this mean? Let's go back to this page right here. It means the following. I have salesperson right there, which is located in the product table, in the salesperson table. And I have revenue, which comes from the fact table, from the sales data. When I place this column here, it's gonna act as a filter. So Carla Ferreira. Carla Ferreira is a salesperson. So I go there to the data tab and I find Carla Ferreira under salesperson. Salesperson, Carla, where's Carla Ferreira? There you go. Let's make a filter in this salesperson. Let's make a filter here. Come on. Oh, there you go. Carla. There you go. ID number 215. So one filter that I placed in the salesperson table flows across the relationships, flows across this relationship in order to filter the sales. So I get salesperson key 215. Then I go to the sales table, and I find here only the sales for salesperson key equals to 215. And I can see here, 60,000 filtered rows. From my 260,000 rows, I get only 60,000 filtered rows for this salesperson. If I sum up this sales amount for this filtered table, I get 4,707,000. So all these computations here, all these calculations there, are performed under a subset of my original table. So when I am here, for example, under Leonardo Cardoso, in order to compute this value, Power BI, the machine, is not computing over the whole sales table. It's using only a subset of my table, a filtered table with the rows only for Leonardo Cardoso. Again, it seems easy, but this might be tricky when you have bigger data models. So one filter that I applied, one filter that I applied in here, in this table, for the salesperson 215, went there and was propagated to my sales table and filtered as well the salesperson key, which filtered my sales table. Is it clear? This is very important. This is the main concept we have to understand in order to master Power BI and to create reports on big data models. Imagine we had 10 fact tables, 20 dimensions. This is very common for bigger projects, okay? Then we must understand this behavior for these relationships pretty well, otherwise it's not going to be able to create reports. So this is important. Let me go back here. Sorry, let me go back right there. Come on. Yeah, there you go. I think this is clear right now. Oh, another thing. Very nice, very important. What about here? Leonardo and 2020 only. How many filters do I have in order to compute this number? Tell me in the chat. What are the filters? In what tables I have filters being applied in order to compute this 900,000 here. This number here, 900,000. The date table. Actually, the year column in the date table, and salesperson, right? So those two filters here and here, they flow across the relationship and filters my sales. So I have less rows in my sales table that are visible right there. So all these calculations, they work in different tables. They see different rows. They see different subset of the original table. Fine. Let me go back right there. Now, we're going to compare sales and the revenue and the budget and create our tooltip. Let me go with the following. I'm going to create first a measure for my budget and a measure for sales versus budget with a division between those. I like always to create a specific table for storing my measures. Go into Home, enter data. I'm going to create this folder, this measure folder. just have to rename key measures, I'm gonna call, press load. You're gonna see another table is gonna be in here. Key measures. I have only one column, but now what I can do is the following. I can move my original columns to there and also create new measures directly from here. To send, I cannot do this. I cannot drag and drop to there, but I can do this under the model tab. Under the model tab, I can do what I want. So I'm gonna change the original measures to this one, okay? To this folder. Orders, ATP, and revenue. All right. Let's go back there. I can now hide this column 1. I don't need. Key measures goes up. And from here, I'm gonna create a new measure called budget only. Let me see if I call budget or, yeah, budget. Budget equals to sum of budget amount. Currency, 0 decimal places. And now let's create another one that I'll call revenue versus budget. Revenue versus budget, which is the division between the revenue and the budget. If this value is equals to 1, revenue is equal to budget. If this value is greater than 1, then my revenue is greater than my budget. If this value is less than 1, then my revenue is less than my budget. Perfect. So greater or equal to 1, I am good. Okay. Now, I'll do the following. On page 1, I'm going to change. Oh, this is important. What happened here? I was using 2 columns that were in a table that I deleted the columns from. I can see the tails to check that sales supervisor and salesperson no longer exist. Of course, we changed the tables, right? From to another table. Just click on the X is there, and let's use from the proper table. Supervisor and salesperson. Let me go right there, yeah. And also here, I was using order date. I cannot use order date anymore. I must use the date from the dimension. So get rid of order date and let's use date from here. Very well, perfect. I want to change from orders to budget. I want to compare revenue with budget in this visual. So let's get rid of orders and let's use budget. Online. There you go. When I am over my budget, I wanna change the color to a darker purple. And when I am below the budget, let's color with a lighter purple. How can we do this? How can we do this? Let's go to format. All right. And on data colors, the default color, I'm gonna change to a custom color. Custom color using conditional formatting. And it's gonna be using rules. Based on which field? I'm gonna use sales versus budget. Oh, sorry, revenue versus budget. I don't need to have this measure inside of this visual. I can use this measure just to perform this conditional formatting. If this value is greater or equal to 1, change to number, and is less than nothing, keep it empty. If it's greater than 1, let's try to use a dark, or maybe the original purple. New rule. Now, if this value is greater than nothing, change to number, and less than 1, it should be the red. Yeah, let's use red. Yeah, we're not using red for anything. Let's use red. There you go. Let's try to see here. This is red because my budget is over my revenue. And those are in purple. Very nice. If you think this is too much, there are too many colors here, I can try to, of course, the budget I should change to maybe a dark, a black. Yeah. Yeah, I think the black one, or maybe this one is okay. Yeah, this one is better. No, it's better. But if you want to compare, to avoid this red, so I don't use too many colors, you can change to a lighter purple as well. Let me save. Let me drink some water. But now, when I hover my mouse on this value here, on this quarter, I would like to see my budget, the value for my budget in here, and also this sales versus budget, this percentage. How can I do this? By using these tooltips. Just drag and drop budget to tooltip, and also revenue versus budget. And when I go back there, I see those values. I can change this one to a percentage, all right? Just by clicking on the name, and in here changing to percentage with just 1 decimal places. Let's go back again. Now it's very nice. But I can do even better. I can do even better by creating another visual when I hover the mouse like this. By showing another visual instead of these numbers only. This is called tooltips, as you saw, but then I can create a specific page to act as a tooltip. Let's do the following. Page 2, let's rename to budget. And in here, under format, I'm gonna change the page size to tooltip, and also the page information to enable tooltip. I don't like to see this so small. I prefer to change my view to fit to page. Page view, fit to page. It's better for me. Now I can, for example, use my indicator. Let's use the indicator there, which is the gauge, okay? The gauge. Make it full screen. And the value will be revenue versus budget, my indicator. But I don't want to finish on 100%. I want to finish, for example, in 140. I can change it right there on format, gauge axis. The maximum will be 1.4. And my target is 1.0. There you go. Nice. My data colors, my target will be black. Okay. And now I can use this budget, this page, as a tooltip. Let's go to page 1. Instead of doing this, we can change our tooltip, go into format, tooltip, page, budget. Let's see. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Of course, I can change as well the colors to be red when I do not, when my revenue is less than my budget. When I do not reach, that's the word. I do not reach the budget. Let's go to budget. Let's go to format data colors, the fill, and also same rules, new rule is greater than 1 and less than nothing is greater than nothing and less than 1. Here, purple, and here, red. Yeah. Let's see that, page 1. Very nice, very nice. And of course, I can place, for example, my values for revenue and budget, however I want in this page as well. For example, oops, so big. Let me change page view to actual size, like this. I can do this, maybe using revenue there, without category, data label smaller, 14, and without units. And now Control C, Control V to budget. Of course, it should say that this is revenue and this is budget, right? So maybe category goes back again. So small. Let me do this, yeah. And here, category is back again as well. I think it's pretty good. Maybe I don't need this title. Yeah, maybe, but it's okay. If I remove the titles, it's gonna be a little bit better to see, but I think the title is good. Let's go back to page 1. My G is missing the legs. I can go back there just to make this a little bit, yeah, like this, a little bit bigger. I think it's very good. Yeah. Nice, guys. This is tooltip. You can do whatever you want with tooltips. Now imagine you go to your meeting and you show this to your colleagues, to your boss. What do you think? Will they prefer this? Tell me in the chat. Do you prefer this type of presentation inside of Power BI or a regular report like this? Power BI or Excel? Which one do you prefer? Which one do you think would make you more recognized in your company? Which one? Tell me in the chat. I know the answer, but this is clear, much better than the regular presentations we are used to see in the companies. Agree? Okay, next challenge. Let me save this. The next challenge is to change the background from dark to light using a button. How can we do this? Let's do the following. We're gonna place a button right here that we're gonna download together, and then we'll use this change pages using buttons feature that Power BI has. But before doing that, I do not like this. All of this in the title, all of this text in the title, because I used those two tips right there. If I remove, then it's much better, okay? All fields that I place here under tooltips are used in the title. Of course, you can personalize your own title, okay? Okay, so let's first find our images to lights off and lights on. Let's go to the browser, logomaker.com, and I don't remember how I found this before. Let's try to find together. Let's try to use here, lights off. Lights off. This is nice. off, but then we need something very close to that. Lights off, maybe this one is okay, is good. Let me do the following. I'm gonna open two tabs here. Lights on, lights on. On and off. Oh, I like this. On and off. Oh, what's happening? Let's use the same one here for on and off. Where? Yeah. This for on. Change to white. Save. No. Okay. And now let's download our lights off. Change to white. Save. No thanks. There you go. Let's go to Power BI. Import image, insert image. Here I have the off. Actually, I'm gonna use the on here in this one. Image. The on. Because I want to turn my lights on. Because I am, now it's off. It's like the dark one is off. The light one is on. So this is the action that I want, to turn the lights on. So I want to turn the lights on. All right. I'm gonna duplicate this page. Right click, duplicate this page. And in here, I'm gonna change to the background, okay? How? Click outside, go there, page background, remove, and let's change to slide 3, I think. No, slide, I don't remember the number. Background, I think it's slide 10, maybe. No? Slide 9. Nope. Slide 3. Nope. I'm gonna test all of them. Slide 1, then. Yeah, sorry, it's the first one. Slide 1. Fit. And let's now change from this light on to image, lights off. I want to turn the lights off. Off. In order to place at the same position perfectly, I go to the first page. Let me just reorganize. I'll call this 1.1 and this 1.0. And in here, you can find under general these numbers, okay? 67, I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna create a copy of this. So I have this backup there, and then I go back to 1.1, click there, general, X position, 57, Y position, 558, width, 33, and height, 52. Now they are at the same position perfectly. Okay, and here we have a small problem. As I can have only one single theme for each file, for each report, I will have to change these colors for the letterings, for the letters in a manual way. There's no other option, unfortunately. I cannot have two different themes, okay? So I have to change manually. There's no way to do another way. Let me go very fast in some of them. And then I'll leave for you to do the next ones. Here, I like you to go there and type color. And then legend, I will always use this blue, okay? This one, this one, this one. What else? The title, data colors. What's this? Oh, for the budget. Yeah, for the budget as well. this one, and also the title, this. Yeah, it's better. And now this, the matrix. Okay, font color. Okay, font color. There you go. What else? Font color for the values as well. Subtotals. Grand total. And field formatting, no. Here, alternate font color. Yeah. This is the last one. I'm gonna do those two. It's up to you. I'll leave to you. Y-axis. The data colors are correct. All right. Sorry, data labels blue. And the title in blue. There you go. Okay. You have to do this manual work, but the wow effect is nice because now I can perform an action to this button. Click on the button, click on the icon, and then here action. The type is page navigation, and my destination is the page 1.0. To test here under Power BI Desktop, you must use the control button. When you publish in the Power BI service, you don't need the control button anymore. Control click. There you go. And here, I'll do the same. Action, but then my action is to go to page navigation, page 1.1. Control click. Control click. Very nice effect. Imagine again, you you sharing this with your colleagues in your company. They'll be impressed, for sure. That's a a great opportunity for you to become a reference in your company. So do not forget to practice and create your own report. Save, and then we're gonna finish this practical lesson by creating our, how do you say? Filter, our hidden filter pane. Our filter pane. When I click there, I want to open a filter pane. How? First, let's draw the filter pane, okay? Then I'm gonna use a shape, insert shape, and this shape is gonna be under the whole page, like this. I'm gonna fill this with a black color, and transparency equals to, let's see, 25, like this. Now, I'm gonna add another shape that I will place right here. Let me see. Yeah. And this will be my filter pane. Okay? Like this. My filter pane. And transparency is equal to 0. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm gonna do the following. I'm gonna add my visuals, my filter visuals here. Press ESC, so it leaves the shape. And here I have the slicer for filtering. Click on there, slicer. Let me place the slicer right here. And I'm gonna use the date, okay? Date column as slicer. Or maybe the year. Yeah, the year. Oops, sorry, ESC. Click on there. Expand date, date hierarchy, and year goes there. But I don't want to act as a slicer like this. I want to create buttons. How can I change this slicer? Click there, change to list, and now it's a vertical list. Let's change to a horizontal list. Go into the format option, general, orientation, horizontal. Now it's a button. Of course, I have to change these colors. Where? Items, I think. Font color equals to dark. Yeah, there you go. When I filter 2020, you'll see there behind this black shape that the numbers changed. Very nice. Now let's create another one just to illustrate. Ask, yeah, release the click, create another one, and now let's create something like this, very tall. For manager, supervisor, and salesperson, this hierarchy that I can do like this. Look, very nice. Okay, you click there, everything is filtered. All right, and another text box for the top here that I'll call filters. Say go with bold. 18, yeah. Centered. Yeah, fine. And now I need a button here to go back, to return to the original page, right? So let's use a default button that I have here under insert buttons. This one is this reset, maybe. Let me see what I used there. Yeah, I used this back button. This back button is okay. This back button that I'm gonna place it right there. Perfect. It's becoming nice. Okay, now how can I click on a button on the original page to show this filter? And how can I click here to go back? Now we're gonna use two other panes here. You go to View, and you show these panes right there, the Selection pane and the Bookmarks pane. Now pay attention. All elements in this page are here in this Selection pane. First, we're gonna group all those filter elements together. And I know these elements go up there. Let's find image, no, shape. From this shape to the button, I'll select with my Shift button, click, and then right click, group. This will, I'll call this as filter pane. Now, what I can do is the following. Look at this hide button. Hide. See? All elements together were hidden. Hide and show. All right. Now, I can create the following. I can create where insert another button, a blank button, to place this blank button on top of this icon. And this blank button will perform this action to open the filter pane. Let me just get rid of this outline. I don't need the outline. Yes. So the button is here. See? But it doesn't have any outline and it's transparent. Okay, but then I have to first create a bookmark when the filter pane is enabled. So let's go again to the filter pane, enable the filter pane, and I have to change this order, okay? I have to put the filter pane on top of my button. Because now I'm gonna add a bookmark. And this bookmark is just, it's like a picture of my current state that I can retrieve when I click on this bookmark. Rename this bookmark to Open Filter. Open Filter. Hide this bookmark and hide this filter pane. And now let's add another bookmark. which I'll call close filter. Now look at this. Click there, open filter. Click here, close filter. Very nice. So this button right there, just have to enable or to call this open filter bookmark. And I can do this, clicking on this shape, on this button, this transparent button. Action on, the type is bookmark, and the bookmark is open filter. Let's try with the control click. Let's go. Control click. There you go. Perfect. It works. The same here for this one, for this back button. This back button already comes with an action that I will ignore. I will change to bookmark into close filter. Control click. Control click. I love this. Very nice. It is very nice. All right. Now there is a small problem that we're gonna fix very easily. When I go there and I make filters like this, you can see the numbers changed, right? Orders are equal to 5,000. But when I click there, it retrieves the same picture that I had when I took this bookmark, when I took this photo. Because the bookmark as is retrieving all states from when I took this photo, when I created this bookmark. But we can change this behavior just by going to these three dots and unchecking this data. Uncheck data, go here to these three dots, uncheck data. Now, everything's gonna work. Let's go back. Let's filter here, filter there. Let's go back here, and visuals are filtered. This is great because I don't use space from my screen, from my dashboard. I use this hidden filter pane. What about a button to clear filters? So I don't have to do this as I did, one by one. I also can do the following. I can, without any filters applied, I can add another bookmark that I'll call empty filters. And in this case, I must leave this data checked because that's what I want. I want to change my data. I want to retrieve the data as I am right now when I took this bookmark, when I created this bookmark. Now let's find another logo, another icon actually. To filters off or filters, how can I say? Remove filters. Remove filters. Empty filter. I would like to see a filter with a slash. Turn the filters off. Come on. Okay, how did I find my original one? Turn the filters off. Oh, none of this. Slicer off. Suggestions. Filter off. Again. Oh, here. Where? A filter off. Filters off, I didn't find, but filter off, I found. That's what I wanted. There you go. Save it. No. Go back here to Power BI. Let's open the filter and let's insert an image for the filter off. Let's place this filter off right there. I'm not going to be so concerned about sizing, about positioning, and so on, but you should. And this filter, also, put this image inside my filter pane. Okay, so they are together. They are together. And this one calls my bookmark empty filter. When I do this and that, my empty filters will close and clear the filters. All right. There you go. Let me save it. All right. And with this, we just finished our lesson. We just finished our second lesson. But before we finish, I just realized I have here sales amount. So I should change from sales amount to revenue. Remember always to use measures, explicit measures under values. Okay, guys, let me go there to finish this lesson. So we just finished our second lesson, and it was great to have you here with me during this time. Now, do not forget, go there and practice. Import all data, import all tables, and create your own version of this sales dashboard. Because it's just by practicing that you're gonna learn. So do not forget to do this. After you finish your solution, post the solution to LinkedIn. I'm sure this will help you to become a reference in this area, and other people will reach you to build the same solution for them. Believe me, this happened before a lot of times with other students. On Thursday, we're gonna build this page right here with this ranking. So we're gonna learn how to work with these photos. And also, we're gonna learn more about the DAX language, how to create a top 3 analysis, and also this ranking, how to compute percentages, and so on. So the DAX language, we're gonna cover on Thursday. Also, on Thursday, be sure to be live with me here, because I'm gonna give you my solution, this file. Also, I'll send the link for the certificate. And at the end of the lesson, I'm gonna talk about my complete Power BI training program, my Power BI Experience course. I'm sure you're gonna like it, and we have a very special offer for you this time. That's it. Now, it's with you. Don't forget to practice. See you on Thursday.